The question here, it says that the function that is given to us is f of xy and its value is given to be e to the power x sine of y, right? So you have function f, which is a function of both the variables x as well as y. And moreover, you are given x, which is t cube plus 1. So that means this x is a function of t here. And y, that is given to be t to the power 4 plus 1. So that means this y is also a function of t. So we have this kind of composite function. Then they are asking in the question, what is the value of df upon dt calculated at the point t is equal to 0. So you are to determine this value. So for that, we are to compute what is the derivative of the function f with respect to t. So we have to determine its derivative with respect to t. Now notice here that here we have only one variable. Here also we have only one variable. So that means we are writing the complete derivative df upon dt and not the partial derivative del f upon del t. So here, in order to calculate this derivative, what you are required to do, you will apply the chain rule. Now, according to chain rule, the derivative df upon dt is obtained by either of the two ways. So the first way is you go from f to the variable x and then from the variable x you reach to the variable t, because our initial point, the given function is f and we wanted to reach at t here, right? So it is obtained when you calculate firstly the derivative of f with respect to x. Now, is this the complete derivative or the partial derivative? Here, because the independent variables, they are two in number, so that means our derivative would be partial derivative. So we have del f by del x, and moreover, this is first thing. In order to reach to t, you also have to go from here to here. So that means you have to take the partial derivative of x with respect to t. And we have to multiply these things. Why? Okay. Now this is not the partial derivative. Why? Because here the independent variable t is only 1 here at this particular level. So we will write the complete derivative of x with respect to t. And moreover, we will multiply these two quantities. Why? Because it is mandatory for you to, in order to move from f to t, to go through x. So you have to go to this as well as to this. So there is a relationship of and. So for and we use dot. And there is another path. So we have the condition of or here. So we are using plus. So according to this, when you move from f to y, so you are taking the partial derivative of f with respect to y, dot with, when you are moving from y to t, you are taking the complete derivative of y with respect to t. Why? Because again, using the same logic, this is our chain rule. Now what you have to do, you just have to compute these four quantities and substitute it here into this expression. So let's calculate all of these. Your function f of x y, that is given to be, if you look at the question, it is given to be e to the power x sine of y. So that means in the first case, we are required to take the partial derivative of this function f with respect to x. So it would be e to the power x sine of y. And then you are required to take the partial derivative of f with respect to y. How do you take these partial derivatives? When you take it with respect to x, you keep x as the variable and treat y as constant. When you take it partially with respect to y, you treat this quantity as constant. So e to the power x would be constant, and we will perform the derivative with respect to y. So sine y's derivative is cos y. So these are the derivatives. So your first variable here is e to the power x sine of y, and the first variable here is e to the power x cos of y. Again, we are to determine the the derivatives for x and y with respect to t. Now x is given to be this quantity, so when you simply take its derivative with respect to t, it would be 3t square, and when you take its derivative simply with respect to t, it would be 4t to the power 3. So we can substitute these values here. So we obtain 3t square here, and we obtain 3t cube, 4t cube here, right? Now the next task is, this is the value of df upon dt. Now the next task is to calculate this value of df upon dt at the point t is equal to 0. So here, if you look at these expressions, you also have x, you also have y, you also have t. Now the value of t is equal to 0 is okay, but what about x and y? So for x and y, we have this expression x is equal to t cube plus 1 and y is equal to t to the power 4 plus 1. So let's use these values. So we have x is equal to t to the power 3 plus 1, right? Just a second. There's a mistake here. In the question, we have the value of y as t to the power 4 plus t. So this is t here. And when you take the derivative, this is 4t cube plus 1, right? So this is 4t cube plus 1. Okay. So now this is the value of x, this is the value of y. So y is equal to t to the power 4 plus t. Now what is the value of x when t is 0? When t is equal to 0, your x becomes 0 cube plus 1. So your x become equal to 1. And when t is 0, y becomes equal to 0 to the power 4 plus 0. So that it simply becomes equal to 0. So into this expression, we will substitute t is equal to 0, x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0. So therefore, we will obtain df upon dt, that is equal to e to the power x. X is 1 and sine to the power sine and the angle is y. Y's values is 0 and we have 3 0 square. This is the first expression. For the second expression, we have e to the power 1 because x is 1 cos of 0 and then you have 4 0 cube plus 1 here. So this thing is equal to sine 0. Sine 0 is 0. So this first term is 0 and this term is e to the power 1 is as such. And cos of 0 is 1. You already know that. And in the brackets you have 0 plus 1. So that is equal to 1. So the value of df upon dt, finally it comes out to be equal to e. But in the question, they are asking what is the numerical value, right? Rounded off to 2 decimal places. So here you should know what is the value of this exponential function over here, e. So its value is equal to 2. So this is equal to 2.718. But when you round off this value up to 2 decimal places, so it becomes 2.72. So we can write 2.72 as our answer here. 2.72. So this is your final answer.